What's happening, Bengals fans? It's Inside the Jungle postgame right here at CincyJungle.com. Hey, Bengals win 33-23. It wasn't pretty at times. At times it looked fantastic. Big day from Jeremy Hill. Big day from Jeremy Hill. The big guy, 24 carries, 154 yards on the day. What a day for Jeremy Hill. He also had 2 touchdown rushes. Andy Dalton wasn't spectacular. At times we saw good Andy, and there were times we saw a bad Andy. But in the end, what really matters is that the Bengals are victorious yet again, 5-2-1 on the year with a big Thursday night showdown in the city of Cincinnati coming up against the Cleveland Browns. Get in touch, Bengals fans, 404-946-3397. Or if you're outside the country and you want to get in touch with us via Skype, you can. Inside the Jungle is the Skype account. As I mentioned, Andy Dalton wasn't spectacular. 19 of 31 for 233 yards, 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. The first interception was you could say was a good play by the cornerback. He undercut the route. The second interception was one of those what were you thinking kind of moments from Andy Dalton, which for whatever reason is starting to creep into his game the last couple of weeks. But as we have stressed many times here on the podcast, run the football. And the Bengals did that today, and they did it well. 34 carries as a team for 191 yards. That will win you ball games, folks. That will win you ball games. Again, if you want to get in touch on the Jungle Line, 404-946-3397. Let's start off. Area code 513. Hi, who's this?
This is Mike Hudson Sucks.
Mike, what's up, dude?
Hey, you know what I love?
What do you love, Mike?
Andy Dalton.
You love Andy Dalton?
I love a quarterback who is going to go and look. Hey, can I get a block? Yes. He cannot wait in that first half on that screenplay to get down there, or the end around, the reverse, to get down and get a block. I called my wife down. She loved it. She thinks Andy Dalton's adorable. Go, Andy.
Okay. So, I mean, there were times where Andy did look good today, but there were also times today, Mike, where you just kind of shook your head thinking, what were you thinking?
Well, he got a little unlucky on that one. I don't know if he wants to call his glove manufacturer and sue them or something, the ball slipping out. But I still, overall, Andy was a benefit to the team today.
All right, fair enough. Hey, look, and in the end of the day, Mike, they won, right?
You know it.
So, and I guess that's at some point, that's all that matters.
Indeed.
All right. Hey, appreciate the call, Mike.
All right, rock on, brother.
Thank you. Who dey? Mike Hudson Sucks. Starting us off with a bang here. Area code 859. Hi, who's this?
Hey, Nick.
Hey,
hear me now? It's John from Kentucky.
I can hear you, John. What's up?
All right. Well, I listened to the game on the radio. I worked every day. But anyway, listened to it, and we sounded okay. Texted a buddy of mine a few times. Didn't sound like Dalton was doing all that great at times, but the Bengals won, and, man, I can't wait till Thursday night. That's the best game of the season as far as I'm concerned. I think both those teams are very evenly matched. I know you're a little concerned about it, but I just can't wait. I think it's going to be a great game, and I'm glad we won today. It sounded to me like we were coached pretty well, and a little more what we want to see out of the Bengals. What did you think?
Well, I thought what we saw today was an emphasis on the running game. When you give your running back 24 carries, that tells you a lot. Jeremy Hill, 24 carries today for 154 yards. So that tells me they went to work. They saw a weakness in that Jacksonville Jaguars defense. They knew they were going to be able to pound the rock, and they did. And so it was good to see Jeremy Hill get off to get his first start and really move the football.
Right. And Rex Burkhead, he blocked the punt, didn't he?
He did. Burkhead blocked the punt. Taylor Mays blocked the punt. Special teams was big today.
Yeah, that's really good. I'm just hoping the team does well on Thursday night. Like I said, I think that game's going to be a barn burner, and I'm glad we did well today. We've won 2 straight games. I mean, we've beaten Baltimore twice. I mean, this team, I rag on them all the time, but you don't beat Baltimore twice if you're not a very good team. You really don't.
That's true. That's a good point.
Just one question then, Nick. I'll let you go. I know a lot of people want to call in. Okay, Baltimore plays Pittsburgh tonight. It is in Pittsburgh, I do believe. Who do we need to lose? Would it be better for Pittsburgh to lose because we've beaten Baltimore twice, and if Pittsburgh loses, that hurts their record?
Right. Yeah, it's a weird situation right now. The AFC North, every team has 5 wins now. So I would think that you want Baltimore to win tonight because we own the 2 tiebreakers over Baltimore.
Okay.
So I would say because then if Pittsburgh, later on, yeah, I would say we would want to root for Baltimore tonight.
Right. Well, I was going to have dinner with my sister and watch the game, but they're Steelers fans. I better not go down there.
Stay away.
We get along. Yeah. Well, we get along fairly well, but that could change, because I'm not going to be pulling for Pittsburgh. So I guess I'll stay at home and just text them and keep the peace there.
Good choice, John.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think we're gonna do okay this year. We're hanging in there. And one thing I noticed too, Nick, before I get off here. People still rag on Dalton. My buddy was ragging on Dalton. And, man, I defended Andy. I just came right back at him, and I said, look, there's no Gronkowski. There's no Heath Miller in Cincinnati. And Gresham is a joke compared to those types of players. And Tyler Eifert can't stay healthy half the time. So, what do you want Dalton to do? Just work miracles in there? I mean, yeah, he has trouble sometimes. But who doesn't in the NFL? The guy's playing for Cincinnati. He's not playing for Pittsburgh. I mean, I just don't understand the stupidity of people sometimes, Nick.
I hear you, John. I hear you, man.
Okay.
Hey, appreciate the call, bud.
All right, Hooday.
Hooday. That's John from Kentucky here on the Jungle Line. Well, and I thought about tweeting this out during the game after the second turnover by Dalton, where you just kind of shrug and you think to yourself, what are you thinking? But, what's the alternative? Are you telling me that the backup quarterback, Jason Campbell, is that much of an upgrade right now? I guess we have to come and live with the fact that we are what we are at quarterback. There are times where Andy Dalton's going to look great, and there are times where Andy Dalton's going to stink up the joint. And I guess that's the quarterback purgatory that we currently live in here in Cincinnati. Let's go back to the Jungle Line. Area code 470. Hi, who's this?
Hey, what's going on? This Jumpman.
Hey, what's up, Jumpman? How you doing, man?
I'm all right, man.
Lay it on me. What are you thinking about today? What are your thoughts?
Well, I didn't get the chance to see the game. I got stuck with the Cowboys and the Cardinals. So yeah, it's like 2 a.m. here in Afghanistan, so it's kind of rough.
Oof. So you had to watch some good teams play today.
Yeah, I guess. But from the looks of it, I was looking at the game cast. Dalton, looking kind of sloppy with those 2 picks.
Yeah.
And the defense needs to tighten up a little bit.
Yeah, the defense wasn't, they certainly bent a lot today. Denard Robinson had almost 100 yards rushing on just 17 carries. So that's almost, 5.5 yards a carry. Hearns tore him up through the air. There were a couple touchdown catches today where the defensive backs just could not locate the football and make plays on the ball. And you just kind of wonder if that sort of cornerback play will come back to haunt them down the stretch.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Didn't someone got hurt on our team? I forgot.
Say that again. You're breaking in and out.
Did someone get injured?
For
the Bengals?
Off the top of my head, there may have been an injury, but I honestly, you know what? I don't remember. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the chat room can help me out. Maybe somebody did get hurt. But I honestly, off the top of my head, I know A.J. Green played very sparingly. Leon Hall kind of got banged up at times. But Jeremy Hill actually went out of the game. There was some questions about whether or not he'd be able to return, and sure enough, he did with a bang. But other,
yeah, I saw a 60-yard return he had or something like that.
Yeah, 60-yard run there in the fourth quarter, which was huge to put the lead back up to 10. So yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, yeah, that's all I got, man.
All right.
Taking my call.
Hey, appreciate the call from Afghanistan. Hope all's going well over there, and hopefully we'll hear from you soon, John, man. Appreciate everything.
All right, Hooday.
Hooday. That's Jumpman giving us a ring from Afghanistan. We are worldly here on the podcast. Get in touch. 404-946-3397 is the number to call. Skype Inside the Jungle if you're outside of the country as well. If you don't get through, continue to call. Keep on trying. I will make sure I get to everybody that I possibly can. Area code 541. You're on the air.
Hi, this is Andy from Oregon.
Hey, what's up, Andy? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty well, actually. After watching that game, you know, it had its ups, its downs. It's a little bit of a Bengal flavor, as I like to say, but in the end, we won, and looking forward to a divisional possible championship matchup versus Cleveland on Thursday.
Who would have thought? You know, actually, the last time, if I recall, a couple years ago, the Browns were playing very well, and then they came to Cincinnati and lost, and I think they ended up losing like 8 straight at the end of the year after that. So it's very similar to that. Right now Cleveland 5-3. They won today against Tampa Bay, and now they will come to the Jungle on Thursday night on a short week. I'm concerned about the short week, Andy, but when you run the ball like they did today, I'm pretty happy.
I was wondering all week long, you know, with the Gio Bernard is injured. Is he going to play? Is he not? Is it a good thing that he's not there and all this? And I really think that facing a team like Jacksonville that, you know, granted they're a professional team, but they're not the greatest. And to have Jeremy Hill be the man and show what he can do, I think that's really promising. And I feel after this game that, you know, Hugh Jackson really needs to rethink his running back ratio, because Hill is a monster. Fast. I didn't know he was so fast on that breakaway, man.
Well, let me ask you this, Andy, because there will be questions when Giovanni Bernard becomes healthy again and they can run him at running back. Do you think Giovanni Bernard could have had 154 yards of rushing today against the Jags?
I think that it's possible only if he did, like a couple of weeks ago, break off an 80-yarder. You know, I mean, you take away that run that Hill had, he was still nearly at 100 yards. I mean, the guy averages 5-6 yards a carry, punishing, big, strong when he gets the momentum and the linemen push him. You know, Bernard is quick and shifty, but it's not very often that he can push for those extra 2-3 yards to get you that first down, which is what we've been lacking for a while.
True. And, you know, I'm not saying that Bernard couldn't do it, but I just think that they're two very different backs, and I just wonder if there's just a better way to what's the word I'm looking for? Maintain or keep Bernard from getting banged up and getting injured, and have him. And we talk about it all the time on the podcast. More like a Darren Sproles type role.
Exactly, or even like that Reggie Bush kind of with the Saints, where they had Pierre Thomas, you know, at the bruiser, and Bush was your big play, third down, catch the ball, and all this. But I also wanted to say, how about Mohamed Sanu? You know, we were all worried Jones is out for the year, and AJ is kind of, you know, he's hurt here, hurt there, but he's still AJ. But I think this year Mohamed Sanu has really shown that he's our Anquan Bolden. He's our get him the ball, third down. He's going to make the catch. He's strong. He's fast. But I'm really looking forward to when we get all our weapons back. We're going to have 4 premier pass catchers, possibly 2 all-pro running backs. I mean, the future is so bright you need shades looking right now.
You know, it's amazing that, you know, we're talking about a guy in Sanu who I remember in his rookie year was really coming on, had a really good 4-week stretch, and then he broke a bone in his foot. And it almost seemed like it took him a long time to get over that injury, because we didn't see a whole lot of him last year. It helps when you have the emergence of Marvin Jones like they did a year ago. But now, here we are this year. We're seeing him really shine. 4 catches today, 95 yards and a touchdown. He poses so many different threats.
Yeah, and his catches, they're not just, you know, perfect thrown ball. Like, he's got to contort his body and make crazy catches falling down. He's just a physical specimen. You see his muscles bulging when he's trying to push through guys. And I will say the one thing I really, really appreciate with him is he holds the ball close to his body, unlike AJ and Jermaine Gresham, who are really good receivers, but every time they catch the ball, they're holding it out there so far. You hold your breath hoping there's no fumble.
Oh, yeah. We saw it again today. AJ Green coughing the ball up there at the goal line. Fortunately, the Bengals were able to recover it. So, yeah, that is one of the strong points about Sanu is he catches it with his hands, and then when he does catch it, he doesn't lose it. And that's refreshing to see, that's for sure.
Yeah, it is. So thanks for doing the show, man. Really appreciate the Sunday after game getting to call in, and hopefully we can pull out another great victory on Thursday.
Let's keep it rolling. Thanks for calling. That's Andy from Oregon here on Inside the Jungle. If you want to get in touch with Bengals fans, 404-946-3397 is the number to call. Inside the Jungle is the Skype line. We did see, and I'm glad that John from Kentucky brought this up. Rex Burkhead today got a couple of carries, 2 carries for 10 yards. But how about the play of the special teams today? A block punt by Burkhead, a block punt by Taylor Mays, resulting in a safety, giving the Bengals the ball back. Where would the Bengals have been without that safety? Would have been a lot closer, that's for sure. I feel like Taylor Mays is a name we haven't heard a whole lot of this year as well, compared to a year ago. So to see him get that block punt today, I thought was huge. Not only that, but Adam Jones with some good returns. I love Adam Jones. I really do. The punt returns today, the long punt return of 31 yards set up the last touchdown set up a touchdown by the Bengals. I'm glad to see him getting more of the opportunities rather than Brandon Tate. We all know my feelings on that. Back to the jungle line we go. Area code 443. Hi, who's this?
Keenan from Maryland.
Hey, what's up, Keenan?
Not much. Just watching the game. This was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. And again, we get up over 100 yards rushing again.
The Bengals is a defense?
Yeah,
Yeah, we gave up, looking at the numbers today, 25 carries, 132 yards on the ground, 94 for Denard Robinson. So, yeah.
Yeah, they will have to do something about that in the draft next year. So,
it's not just there. They need help at the secondary as well. There was a couple times balls should have been picked off that weren't.
Yeah. I actually wanted to ask, have you heard anything about Tyler Eifert? Because I read on your Cincy Jungle that he was able to come back, but they didn't bring him back.
I don't believe he's eligible to return yet.
Oh, okay.
You have to, and I apologize for not knowing it off the top of my head, but I think he will be back not this week, but the following week. I think is when he'll finally be eligible to return off of the IR with the ability to return list. So, but you're right, they certainly miss him. Although, Jermaine Gresham has done okay. But you still kind of wonder where this offense would be if they had another one of those tight end threats. I'm not saying Ryan Hewitt's bad, but he's not Tyler Eifert.
Yeah, he really isn't. Yeah. Hopefully we get him back as soon as possible. Hope there's no setbacks with his injury.
Yeah, hopefully we get everybody healthy, especially down the stretch. They're going to really need all the guys. Fortunately, we did give up 132 yards rushing today. Without Vontaze Burfict playing, without Ray Amaluga playing, so you add that into the whole equation, and things are a little iffy on defense right now. But look, they didn't lose, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's the best thing.
Yeah,
that would be a little embarrassing if we lost to the Jags.
That's right, definitely, especially at home. They've been on fire at home, so glad they got the win. We knew it wasn't going to be pretty. We said that on the show this week. Somebody I can't remember who called in expecting a blowout, and I kind of questioned. I said, when did the Bengals ever blow anybody out? So we knew it would be tough, but in the end, they won, and now they move on, and they've got a tough Thursday night game coming up.
Yep. All right. Hooday.
Hooday. Appreciate the call, Keenan. Area code 821 or 210.
Okay.
I don't know what's happening here. Okay, we'll try that again later. Get in touch. 404-946-3397 is the number to call if you want to get in touch. If you're watching us live here at CincyJungle.com. I think we all know today who our game MVPs are going to be. Jeremy Hill, again, 24 carries for 154 yards. The guy's a monster. I think they answered that question today. What are you going to do with him moving forward? I love Giovanni Bernard. I love Bernard. I love what he can do. I love what he can do in space. I love that he can catch the football. But seeing Hill run today between the tackles, I hope that they continue that trend. I really do. I think that's what he's meant to do as a running back. I think that's what he's best at. Bernard is a shiftier kind of back. He's much more nimble. He's smaller. I don't know if he can take that pounding. I really don't. But maybe I'm wrong. But I just think today answered your question. Area code 757. Hi, who's this?
Hey, Nick. It's Matt in Virginia Beach, Virginia.
Hey, what's up, Matt? How you doing, buddy?
Everything is good, man. So many things that I could say, but I watched the whole game and very disenchanted with Dalton. The inconsistencies really scare me for what we have coming up down the road.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't. there were times today where you saw some of the passes and you're like, all right, good, this is good. And then we saw the same issues that cropped up a week ago, and you just kind of scratch your head. And it's got to be frustrating for Hugh Jackson.
Sure.
I mean, what is Hugh Jackson supposed to do? I mean, it is what it is at quarterback.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And, I mean, high passes, he looks scared in the pocket half the time, and his pocket presence is just really, really, I don't know, the last couple games in particular, but, I mean, the whole season it seems like he's kind of been out of sync more often than he's been in sync. And then high throws, off-the-mark throws. I mean, if Sanu wasn't making the kind of catches he's been making, Dalton would have a very bad season going so far. So,
That's true. I mean, Sanu has really made Dalton look good.
Yeah, he really has. Well, appreciate what you guys do. I will take up more anybody else's time, but listen to you guys all the time. Thanks for what you did.
Oh, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Who day? That's Matt from Virginia giving us a ring. If you want to get in touch, 404-946-3397. I mean, I don't know if and we kind of teased this, I guess, a couple years ago when the Browns came to town, vying for first place in the AFC North. And that's what Thursday night is. This is a battle for first place in the division. I guess I didn't see that coming from the Browns. But today they beat a Tampa Bay team who we all know isn't great. They did whip up on the Steelers. So what kind of team is this Browns team? But then again, the Bengals haven't lost at home in the regular season in quite a while. It's been a long time. I like our chances. I certainly like our chances, especially if they can run the ball the way that they did today. MVP today, got to go with Jeremy Hill. He's my choice. I'm sure everybody else here in the chat room agrees with me. Let's just run down these stats today for the Bengals. Third down efficiency, 6 for 13 for the Bengals, 4 of 12 for Jacksonville. The Bengals ran 67 total plays for 423 yards. They averaged 6.3 yards per play. Actual Jacksonville, the Blake Bortles actually outpassed Andy Dalton today. 22 of 33 for 247, 2 touchdowns and the interception. He did have 2 sacks for 14 yards. So, yeah, Blake Bortles outplayed Andy Dalton today to an extent. The only difference being a couple of turnovers and that pick in the end zone by Georgia Loca. I think that did the Jaguars in. That was a big play. Let's go back to the jungle line. Area code 210. Hi, who's this?
Hey, this is James from Korea.
Hey, what's up, James?
Not much. I only catch the second half at like 3 a.m. for me. The Jaguars did look like a 1-17 to me.
Say that again. You're cutting in and out a little bit.
Sorry, and the Jaguars look like a pretty good team to me.
Oh, you thought they looked good?
That Hearns guy, I mean, he's pretty. The first touchdown he had, it was just a great play.
Yeah, I mean, the Jaguars, we know they've got talent. They've been, I mean, to be fair, they've been picking high in the draft how many years in a row now? But with that aside, Denard Robinson at running back, he had almost 100 yards rushing today. Hearns had 100 yards receiving. Cecil Shorts, we've known he's capable of some big games. So you're right. I think from a receiving standpoint and an offensive standpoint, they've got some talent. But defensively, I think their weaknesses really showed today, especially on that 60-yard run by Hill.
Yeah, they looked at their. They didn't seem like they had good plays called or something. That Bortles, he should have had like 5 or 6 picks.
Yeah.
I didn't even count how many picks were dropped.
There was a couple of picks that were dropped, and there were a couple of plays that weren't made by our DBs where you just kind of you got to locate the football and make a play, and that just kind of. I hope that doesn't come back to bite them later on in the season. But you're right. I think the numbers don't show it, but there probably should have been some more turnovers by the Jacksonville offense. That's for sure.
Yeah. Did anything come out about
Andre Smith? I'm glad you brought that up. He was one of the guys that was injured. We saw Marshall Newhouse replace him at right tackle. I don't know more about what happened to Smith, unfortunately, but so you have to check back to Cincy Jungle this week to find out more.
He's been playing really badly the last few weeks.
Yeah. I just
going to be interesting.
I think he's just come up against some pretty good right or left defensive ends the last couple of weeks, and I don't know what the extent of the injury is, but hopefully, they like what they saw in Newhouse, and he came in and played pretty well in his as a replacement. So kudos to Newhouse for being ready, and kudos for the Bengals having the depth at offensive line.
Yep, I only saw the second half, but it looked good to me.
Yeah.
I'll get going. Thanks for listening.
Hey, appreciate the call, James.
Yep.
All right, area code 4.
from
I don't know why does it keep doing that. Okay. If you want to get in touch, 404-946-3397 is the number to call. I forgot about the Andre Smith injury, so I'm glad James brought that up. That he got something with his knee, possibly. To be fair, I'm not really sure what happened. I just know that he wasn't playing in the game, that Marshall Newhouse replaced him. So I'll have to update you more this week here on the podcast. Area code 410. Hi, who's this? 410, you're on the air. All right, he hung up. Okay. If you want to get in touch again, that number 404-946-3397. Taking a look at some of these other numbers, we saw Cedric Pierman get some carries, though he didn't have a whole lot of success on the ground. 5 carries for 9 yards for Cedric Pierman. Mohamed Sanu, from a receiving standpoint today, 4 catches for 95 yards. A.J. Green, finally back after a long hiatus, 3 catches for 44 yards and a touchdown. He also had another touchdown called back because he lined up offsides, and it wasn't even close. How does that even happen? That's what I don't understand. You're a wide receiver. The referees tell you if you're offside. Jermaine Gresham, 5 catches for 36 yards. Pierman with 2 for 22. My boy Brandon Tate, 1 for 10, and Rex Burkhead had 2 for 10 as well. But again, the story of the day today, Jeremy Hill just unleashing a barrage of runs. The longest, a 60-yard run to seal the deal there in the fourth quarter. Just a well-blocked, executed play. 154 yards for Jeremy Hill. That's fantastic to see. Back to the jungle line we go. Area code 401. Hi, who's this?
Hi, this is Donovan from Rhode Island.
Hey, what's up, Donovan?
Oh, nothing much. I watched the game, and, of course, the Bengals always play down to their competition. I was very pissed off at how good they made the Jags look. There's no reason why Denard Robinson should have all those yards, but other than that, this really shouldn't have been a close game. 5 drop picks or something. It got pretty crazy. Like, Lemire had 3 drop interceptions himself. But on offense, I think Andy Dalton, he by far had his worst game of the season, but it wasn't to the point where, he made plays that when we were up. It's not like he cost us the game when we were fighting to get back into it. I also think that people need to chill out with, oh my God, the doom and gloom at quarterback. We're never going to be any better than Andy Dalton will carry us, and people need to realize that for a fourth-year quarterback, this is as good as it gets. For anybody that's ever had a good QB in their fourth year, this is as good as it really gets, besides Indianapolis and Andrew Luck. I'll take this fourth-year quarterback over, like, any other quarterbacks that have been drafted in the past recent, like, five years, because he's proven that he is going to be great. And I don't understand how people can get on the air and say, oh, well, he's never going to be a elite quarterback. He's never going to be a Peyton Manning or Tom Brady, which I don't think anybody is. But just saying that he's never going to be elite just makes no sense when he's only in his fourth year and all the guys that they're comparing him to is in their 8th or 10th season. So I think people need to chill out about that. I think we're in a great position with Dalton. And if the last thing I want to point out is if we can get the perfect balance between Gio and Hill, there's no defense that could stop us. I'm convinced of that. Because I think what you need to do is give Hill more carries and still have Gio the starter, but put Gio in position to get in space other than instead of running between the tackles every play. So that's what I have to add. And Who Days, 5-2-1, best division in football, and we're the best team in that division. So things are looking up, and once we get healthy, nobody's going to be able to stop us, except probably Denver.
Who they appreciate the call, Donovan. I hear what Donovan's saying there, and I get it. You know, I disagree that this is the best it's going to get, because I think there is room for Andy Dalton to improve at quarterback. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback. We just, unfortunately, it seems like there's no middle ground. We either have great Andy Dalton or we have bad Andy. And it's like, why can't we just have consistent good Andy? You know what I mean? When, you mentioned there's not another quarterback that you would draft, in the last 5 years other than Dalton. But I'd rather have Luck. I'd rather have Russell Wilson. To an extent, I'd rather have Colin Kaepernick. But again, I'm not saying we need to go actively searching for a new quarterback. The guy is a winner. He keeps winning. And I don't mean this in a slight in any way, because I think that there are some similarities. But the way Andy Dalton plays and the way he wins games reminds me an awful lot of Jeff Garcia, a guy who just won you ball games. And there were times where Jeff Garcia made plays and looked great, and there were times where Jeff Garcia just made you scratch your head and think, what in the world? But at the end of the day, Jeff Garcia, I'm not saying he was a Hall of Fame quarterback by any means, but he was a pretty solid quarterback. When he had T.O. there in San Francisco, we saw Jeff Garcia also play well in Philadelphia. And again, I don't mean that as a slight in any way to Andy Dalton. I see a lot of similarities there. Maybe that's unfair for both of those guys. But again, I have no disrespect towards Jeff Garcia. I thought he was okay. That's just my personal take. If you want to get in touch with Bengals fans, 404-946-3397 is the number to call. If you want to get in touch with us as well outside the country via Skype, you can. Inside the Jungle is the Skype account. Speaking of the Skype account, let's welcome Fatal Content to the program. Fatal, what's up, bud?
Hey, what's going on, Nick? How's everything going,
man? Hey, man, a win is a win. I know. Look, a lot of people wanted them to blow the Jaguars out. But look, it's the NFL, and that just doesn't happen.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, you would prefer a blowout. I mean, it's just the greed that you wanted to show that, hey, you didn't play down to the opponent, but sometimes the opponent just plays up, and unfortunately, we dropped a lot of interceptions and left the door open a few times. The sloppy play definitely isn't excusable, but yeah, you're right. It's the NFL. It happens. You saw the Raiders hanging with the Patriots a few weeks back, so hey, it happens. You're right, but a win is a win.
A win is a win, and the NFL for whatever they do every Sunday, that's why they play the games, right? I mean, we saw today Miami just absolutely steamrolled the Chargers. I didn't see that coming at all.
Oh, yeah, tell me about it. Hey, you read my mind. That's the exact game I was going to refer to. I did not see that coming. And, it was absurd to see that. They got trounced. Even with injuries, you don't expect that, especially from the Dolphins.
But today, we saw good Andy, we saw bad Andy, and we saw a great Jeremy Hill. I know you want to talk about Jeremy Hill.
Oh man, I'm the bail bondsman of the so-called free Jeremy Hill gang. So yeah, I'm definitely. It's good to see him out of solitary confinement and with the population, man.
It was, he even left the game with an injury. So you were thinking at one point they were just down to Pearman and Burkhead, but then he came back and he ran with a vengeance.
Yeah, that guy's a beast, man. It just goes to show that, it's what we've all been clamoring for, and he kind of solidified how we feel. It's 150 yards in his first start. I mean, it's definitely not coincidence. He's a stud.
Yeah, he's a beast. I hope that they continue to use him like they did today. 24 carries, but it's going to be tough when they get Bernard back. How are they going to divvy up those carries? And we shall see. I think we won't see Bernard on Thursday night against Cleveland. But hey, Cleveland's no joke, Fatal.
No, they're not. They're kind of Jekyll and Hyde at times, but they're not. Especially when they play us, they always show up. So you always have to expect them to be ready for that. And at 5-3, hey, they're looking kind of suspect at times, but they're finding ways to win.
Yes, they are.
I was gonna ask you what was your most troubling? I don't know if you said it. I couldn't listen to the show, but what was your most troubling aspect of the game today, and what was your best?
Ooh, there's a couple incidents where I was disappointed. I thought the secondary really, for whatever reason, and we kind of talked about it on the podcast on Wednesday night on the Steve Smith offensive pass interference call with George Iloka about locating football and making a play on the ball. And today we saw our cornerbacks just look unathletic and look like they couldn't find the football. Leon Hall got burned for a touchdown that should have been probably picked off. Terrence Newman, we know, had an interception in his hands that he dropped. And then later in the game, there was a play where the receiver just battled him for it and grabbed it out of his hands and got a touchdown out of it. So I was probably, if I had to give a most disappointing aspect today, it'd probably be the play of our secondary against a rookie quarterback, by the way, who threw for more yards than Andy Dalton.
Yeah, that's true. But what's crazy is that I understand if the secondary, by all accounts, has been, just the best part of our defense this year. But what's insane is if we were getting burnt, but what was crazy is that the guys were right there. And you're right, it looked like they couldn't find the ball. And it was bittersweet to see my guy Allen Hurns balling like that and having to do that against us. He had a great game. But on two of the plays, and the one where he muscled it away from Newman and the other one where Leon Hall is in position and he just found the ball. And he made a couple of great catches to his credit. But, yeah, the secondary was right there and just couldn't find the ball.
Yeah. And that's something that over the last couple of years we haven't seen a whole lot of interceptions from our cornerbacks. But it was good to see Iloka make a play in the end zone when they needed it. That was a big interception. I guess if I had to give another disappointment, the fact that Denard Robinson almost had 100 yards rushing, but I've seen Denard Robinson rush for many, many yards as my time as a Notre Dame fan, so I wasn't surprised one bit about that.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think it was he had three straight 100-yard games before this, wasn't it? Something like that.
Yeah, he's been playing well.
Yeah, he has. So yeah, that's definitely the secondary. Probably was my GOAT. I think the best. Was Jeremy Hill, obviously, but one B was man. Sanu continues to keep impressing, man. He played well.
Sanu's been awesome. I think he's averaging over the last 5 weeks just under 100 yards receiving. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And then in terms of AJ, he impressed me. He didn't really have the yardage we would have wanted, but man, he should have had 2 touchdowns. Damn it! But I don't know how he got that outside. But
that's not even close, Fatal.
Yeah, I know, but what the heck was he doing?
You just got to turn and look at the ref. The ref will tell you. Oh, that's what's frustrating.
That was absurd, but he had a pretty good debut. He came in and had his touchdown. Dalton threw a pretty good strike there, but you're right. We against good teams, we can't see those turnovers by Dalton in those quarters, man, because we're gonna lose. So yeah, I'll let other people get calls in, man. But thanks a lot for taking the call and good show, man.
Hey, appreciate the call, Fatal. We'll talk to you on Wednesday, man. First place, that's right, 5-2-1. Appreciate the call, bud.
All right, man.
Who day? That's Fatal. Here on the Skype line, let's go to area code 540. Hi, who's this?
Hey, Nick, it's Mark. How are you?
Hey, Mark, what's up, bud?
Big hoot day to you and all the fans out there. Well, what'd you think about today's game?
Oh man, there are times where, as a Bengals fan, you can never be comfortable. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
At the end of the day, a win is a win.
Yeah, I'll take the W. I'll take the win. I think our special teams played great today. I think that was a big boost for us. With Gio being out and Eifert and some of our other weapons, I think obviously Hill stepped up and did what he had to do, and I think as a whole, I think we'll be ready for the Browns on Thursday. I'm kind of concerned about the short week though.
It's a short week, but it's at home.
Yeah. So, we're what 14 and what 4? It's been like 14 games or something since our last loss at home, or.
I don't know the exact number, but it has been a while, and I don't want to jinx it just yet, Mark. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
The home, it'll help with the preparation. They'll probably start right away Monday morning, looking at game tape against the Browns. They won't even look at this week's tape, which is unfortunate because there are probably some things they need to look at and get cleaned up. But you're right. I'm glad you brought up special teams though, because that's probably not going to get talked about enough this week. The 2 block punts were huge.
Yeah. I mean, it changed field time for us, and I think that was a game changer there. Besides Dalton's 2 interceptions, what was it? 2 interceptions?
Yeah, he had 2 picks. One was I would say a good play by the cornerback, and the other one was he literally threw the ball off of Andrew Whitworth's back, and the linebacker just scooped it up. So it's one of those okay moments.
Yeah, but hey, we squeaked out a win, and the Jags are tough. They had some decent D on them, and they played tough. Green didn't seem like that he was on his aim game today, so I think he was out there more or less for cover 2. But I mean, Sanu continues to be a monster.
I think Green's still kind of easing his way back in after the foot. I don't know how healthy he'll ever be the rest of this year with that ligament injury in his foot, but he did have a touchdown and probably should have had 2.
Yep. But hey, thanks for taking the call, and a big hoot to you and all the fans out there, and bring on the Browns.
All right, I like it. Bring on the Browns. Hoot, my brother.
All right. Take care.
That's Mark here on the Jungle Line giving us a ring. 404-946-3397 is the number to call. I know we have a lot of fans over in the UK. If you want to get in touch as well, you can call us via the Skype line. Speaking of the UK, Mike Smith, what's up, buddy?
I'm okay, mate. I'm okay. Just to lay it out here. Just lay it out here. Be no talk about football, Man United, Liverpool at all during this call. Okay.
Fair enough.
Okay. That's fair enough. I think we said what we had to say in
Truce.
the chat room. For the time being, yeah. For the time being. Today's game, I thought there was quite a lot of bad Andy, sadly. It's just a couple of throws that I just thought, what were you doing, trying to force it through the coverage. And I did tend to start screaming at my laptop screen saying, run the ball, please. It's the Jags. We don't need to spend a great deal of time on this team. We need to manage the clock, run that clock down, and just run the ball far more than we did. Far more than we did.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know what do you think? I don't know. Hugh Jackson isn't necessarily coming into games with the correct game plan, or is he trying to counter the opposition's defense? What do you think?
Well, I think it's tough for Hugh Jackson. He's got a lot of guys out, and so I think today when they needed it, they ran the football and they were effective with it. I mean, they ran the ball 24 times with Hill. He had 154 yards. So I think I don't know how many more times they could have given him the ball, but I'm glad that they at least didn't abandon the run when they had the lead, because we have seen in the past where they've held leads and they're slinging it around, and that's where it comes back to bite you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and it has been done before. We seem to have learnt the lessons from years past. I thought today special teams had a great day. Kevin Huber, he's playing at a Pro Bowl level. I thought Dre Kirkpatrick as well had a great game on special teams. He certainly was I can't remember who the Jags returner was, but I know he wasn't giving him a lot of room. And the cornerbacks as well, was pretty disappointing to see that they could have had like a number of interceptions, and I thought Hall and Newman as well. They were when they were fighting for the ball, they seemed to always lose their one-on-one contest, especially Hearns on Hall. I mean, Hearns had the better day over Hall overall. I think that was quite disappointing. It's a bit disappointing when you think we've got 2 first-round cornerbacks and they still can't get in this. It can't get in this team. That's not a knock on Dre Kirkpatrick. I'm not singling him out. It's both of them really. I just think it's a fact of the team that we're going to have to, as we go into the second half of the season, we're going to have to vastly improve. just again today, Nick, I just thought, Leon Hall, Denard Robinson, the University of Michigan had a bit of the Bengals had a bad day against the old Michigan alma mater.
That's true. Leon Hall didn't look great, and to be fair, he hasn't looked very good for most of the year.
No,
and I don't know if it's coming back from his injury, but still, when you've got 2 first-round draft picks, and one of them not even active and dressing on game day, that's what's you just kind of wonder what's going on there. Why isn't there what is it that Denard's not doing that Leon Hall is in practice, and maybe who knows what's in the thoughts of the defensive staff.
Yeah, unless it just could be that Hall's been there for so many years and he's tried and trusted, isn't he? Really, and I think it's with Denard, it's a question of do you want to you can throw him into a situation like that against the Jags, or do you want to keep him sort of wrapped in cotton wool and trying to keep him out of prevent him, say, getting a serious injury in his first year. But I guess my philosophy is, unless you actually throw him into those scenarios, I guess it's sink or swim time. That is disappointing. But a win's a win. We go forth. We go against the Browns on. Well, for you guys, it's Thursday night, isn't it? It's Friday.
Yeah, it'll be early Friday for you. Yeah.
Early Friday morning. Well, I'm off work on Friday, so I might stay up.
Well, good, because I'm off Friday as well. I'll be actually hosting a post-game show Thursday night.
Oh, good. I'll be about 4:00 in the morning when that starts, so I'll probably be bleary-eyed and incoherent rambling, but just like a normal call for me, eh?
That's right. Hey, Mike, appreciate the call, bud.
Yeah, no problem, mate.
Cheers.
See you next week. No worries. Bye-bye.
Bye, Mike. That's Mike Smith here on the Skype line giving us a ring. Let's go to 828. Hi, who's this?
Hey, Nick. It's Kurt down in North Carolina.
Kurt Campbell. What's up, buddy?
Man, it's been a long time coming since I've been able to call you guys. But
it has been a while.
I don't know what the consensus. Yeah, things get busy. But I don't know what the consensus of the show has been. I haven't been able to listen, but I had to be able to call in today. I feel weird getting a win. Like, it doesn't feel as good as I feel like it should feel.
Well, I mean, look, they didn't play their best, but they won. I'm always happy after a W. I guess I just didn't expect this team to blow the Jaguars out.
I guess I'm going to start calling it the Nick Stuberling syndrome, where you get a win, but then you start nitpicking the team. You ready?
Oh, you want to call it oh, wow, that's great. But it's funny that you say that, because there's been a lot of negative talk here in the show, but you're right. There hasn't been enough positive talk about what they did well today. And what they did well was run the football with Jeremy Hill. And they played great special teams. So you're right. I hear you. That's pretty. I like it. Give me.
I feel like in the three separate entities, it was all Jekyll and Hyde. Like, even with special teams, like punting was great. You knew you kicked a field goal, but kickoffs were horrible. Like, they were getting field position like up to like the 30 to 35 on almost every single kickoff.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, great on the punting and kicking, kickoffs not so great. And then I look at the defense. Like, there were times when they were giving up big run yards and giving up big pass yards, but then like the second quarter, it was spectacular. Like, Jaguars, like, at one point, like halfway through the third quarter, had like 1 yard of offense. And so, like, we see parts where the defense can be like that top 5 defense, and other parts they look horrible. And the same thing with the offense. Like, he's hitting Sanu for these great things. He's hitting, A.J. Green and Jermaine Gresham looks good, and then all of a sudden, and Jeremy Hill looks great. But then there are points when, like, Dalton makes a bonehead play, or Sanu can't pull the ball down. And it's like everything, like all 3 parts of the team is like 50% of the time they look like a top 5, like a team that could go to the Super Bowl team. And the other half of the time, it was like they're going to let another team come back into this game and beat them again.
Yeah, I can't argue that. You bring up some great points. I wish that we would see a more consistent team. But you're right. I would like to see them play great all the time.
And so on a short week, I mean, once again, love W. We keep pace with the Browns. Someone's losing tonight, either the Ravens or the Steelers. Someone's losing. Someone's dropping back.
Hey, man, you could have a tie. You never know.
That's true. But I mean, but you got a short week, and then Cleveland's coming to town. You know, I think that it's still a W. I think that we're good enough to beat that team, but it's just like you kind of wonder which offense, which defense, which special teams is going to show up. And so I guess at this point of the year, I know that we have the talent to go deep into the playoffs. It's just, are they going to be able to show up on every given day? And once again, are we going to be healthy enough to be there?
Well, the good news is it's early November, so they've got time to get healthy. They're still going to get Eifert back. They're still going to get A.J. Green healthier as the season goes. And, you know, they're going to get Bernard back as well on offense. Defensively, still got some question marks about Burfict, Maluga when they'll be back. But the good news is in the secondary, you know, I know Leon Hall got banged up today. They have some depth there. So you're right. But look, it's early November. At this point, a win is a win. They're in first place, and Thursday's a big game.
Talk me down, Nick. Talk me off the ledge.
Hey, I know you're a Browns family over there, so you're going to have a good week, man. Don't worry.
All right. Well, it was good talking to you. I'll do my best to try to call in more.
All right, buddy. We miss you. We'll see you hopefully on Wednesday night, bud.
Absolutely. Have a good one.
Good. You too. Who day, Kurt?
Good day.
That's Kurt down in Asheville, North Carolina, giving us a ring. 404-946-3397 is the number to call. It's odd. It is a very odd feeling. You're right, because the Bengals did win today, but yet there's just an awful lot of negative about going on, you know, negative about what's happening with this team right now. I feel like we should do a better, and this is myself, I should do a better job of letting people know the great things this team did today, which was run the football. Area code 4010. Hi, who's this?
Hey, Nick, this is Seth, not from Baltimore.
All right, Seth, what's on your mind today?
Yeah, I was agreeing with the other. I think it was 2 calls ago or a call ago when he said something about how he felt weird after this win. That's sort of like how I feel about this. I mean, I was watching the game, and it's like I felt like we should have won more decisively, I guess. But it's like I don't know. It's like we letting them hang, and then they got, I think, and gone through a interception, and then next, you know, he tried to do a screen pass, and it, you know, fell into I think a defensive tackle's hand or somebody's hands, and it seems like we won, but it felt like we didn't deserve to win, you know.
Well, I wouldn't say we didn't deserve to win, but you're right. We let a team that was on the ropes kind of hang around. The same thing happened last week against the Ravens. You know, they had a pretty sizable lead, and those 2 turnovers let Baltimore get back into the game and take the lead. So you're right. You don't like seeing that. And I don't want to necessarily say that the Bengals stoop to their opponent's level, but I think they just make some questionable plays where you just kind of wonder what were you thinking, kind of moments that for whatever reason continue to creep up into the offense of this team. But look, it's the NFL, and we saw Jacksonville whip up on the Cleveland Browns, who they're 5-3. So their only win was against a team with a winning record. So it's the NFL, man. Anything can happen on any given Sunday. But at the end of the day, though, Seth, they won.
That's true. It's funny because each time I saw a drop interception, I'm like, man, my bowl prediction may not come true. It's like we was dropping a bunch of, and basically it felt like we was missing a whole bunch of opportunities that we should have took advantage of. I think I saw like 3 to 4 drop picks, and I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Like the only consistent one I think was George Iloka that happened at the end of the game, which, you know, I'm still in the game, but rather than that, I think Emmanuel Murray dropped, I think, like 2 or 3 of them. I think Tanner Newman dropped the easy one early in the game. Some balls, Blake Bortles didn't even just threw it up there. Well, I'm not going to say really threw it up there, but the wide receiver just made a great play on it. So, you know, I don't know, but I'm thinking about Thursday now. Moves on to Thursday, Cleveland. It's going to be another tough matchup. Hopefully we can get another W and get that well-rested bye, I guess, so we can get our injury players back and go against the Saints.
Yeah, it's going to be, I hope that they continue with the winning streak here at home. The Browns, it's always a tough game. The AFC North games are always tough, no matter what the records are. But hopefully they keep this run going here at Paul Brown Stadium, and let's hope Bad Andy doesn't creep up.
Yeah, did Did they ever say what was wrong with Andre Smith? Did he ever come back on the field, or?
I don't think he ended up coming back onto the field. We saw a lot of Marshall Newhouse there in the second half. And unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to see what exactly the extent of Andre Smith's injuries are. So you have to check back to Cincy Jungle for more information.
All right. Talk to you Wednesday, Nick.
All right, buddy. Appreciate the call. That's Seth, not from Baltimore, giving us a ring here on Inside the Jungle postgame show. We've been going at it here for about an hour. We'll be here for a couple more minutes if you want to get in touch. If you're watching live here at cincyjungle.com, 404-946-3397 is the number to call. I would ask for your MVPs here in the chat room. I think we all know it's a split between Jeremy Hill and Kevin Huber, from what I'm reading. I'm just kidding. Jeremy Hill, your MVP today, 24 carries, 154 yards, and 2 touchdowns in his first NFL start. That's fantastic. Glad to see Jeremy Hill get freed. You know what else I loved? The walk-off sack from Margus Hunt. He didn't even attempt to get back on side as the Jaguars were scrambling to run a play there before the clock hit quadruple zeros. Margus Hunt with the sack and ran to the locker room to celebrate. Good for him. Good to see Margus Hunt making a play when it really counted in garbage time. No, it wasn't technically garbage time, but good to see Margus Hunt get a sack at least. I think the walk-off was what really made it. Oh, Margus Hunt, you cracked me up. Again, thanks to everybody who's called in this week. Don't forget to join us live here on Wednesday night at cincyjungle.com for our weekly show, where I'll be joined by Anthony Cosenza, Scott Bantel, and hopefully we'll have Mr. Mickey Mentzer back for our normally scheduled Wednesday night show. Thursday night, the Bengals take on the Cleveland Browns at Paul Brown Stadium. We will have a post-game show Thursday night following the game, as I was able to get the night off. So I'll be able to take your calls. It will be a late night on Thursday. We'll burn the midnight oil, but let's hope that last year's Thursday night game does not happen this year on a short week. But it is a game at home. The Bengals have been very, very good at home over the last year and a half, 2 years. I believe the streak is either at 13 or 14 games now. So kudos to the Bengals in Paul Brown Stadium. You know that place will be rocking. For all the latest information about the Bengals injury news, player updates, check it out, cincyjungle.com. The guys are furiously writing their game recaps right now. They're good, they're bad, they're uglies. Check it out at cincyjungle.com. Those guys are working hard, and they do a great job covering this team. Thanks again for all the iTunes reviews. You've all been fantastic. If you like what we do here on Inside the Jungle postgame show and our Wednesday night show, the show is listener-supported. And if you enjoy and you're entertained by what we do, check us out at spnt.tv/Patreon. Your contributions will help make this show a success and continued success, and be able to grow with some equipment upgrades and keep it going. And I can't thank everybody enough for all the support they've given the show the last couple of years. You've all been fantastic. With that, we'll wrap it up again. Bengals today winners, 33-23 over the Jacksonville Jaguars. I almost called them the London Jaguars. They're actually hopping on a plane and heading to London right now. Isn't that crazy? They go on the road, and then they go really on the road to London. So I guess you got to give some credit to the Jacksonville Jaguars today. They fought hard. They made it tough. But in the end, the Bengals win 33-23. Again, thank you to everybody who called in. Thanks for everybody who tuned in live here at cincyjungle.com. Inside the Jungle is an SPNT production. For more information about our other podcasts, log on to spnt.tv. Special thanks to our associate producers, Andy Lanham, Larry Rolson, Mike Vardy, and Chris Setters as well. If you want to get in touch, Inside the Jungle at SPNT, follow me on Twitter at Nick Suberman. Again, Bengals win 33-23 over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Don't forget to join us Wednesday night for Inside the Jungle. We'll see you then. Bengals win. Hooray!